Mina, Mum and Dad were having breakfast. Dad said, "Shall we go to the beach today?" "Yippee!" Mina cried. Mummy also liked the idea. Mummy made a stack of sandwiches for the day. When they finished eating, Dad and Mina cleared the table. Mummy gathered the beach things, swimwear and towels. She put everything into a big bag. Mummy also added the sandwiches, of course, and a large bottle of water. Nina, Mummy and Daddy got into the car. Dad was driving the car. Mina was in the back. She looked out of the window. She saw trucks, tall buildings flashed past. Afterwards, they drove through the woods. Dad parked the car. They got out. It was very warm. Dad carried the bag with the beach things. Mina took Mummy's hand. They walked up a hill, and suddenly, at the top of the hill, they saw the beach and the sea. So much yellow sand and so much blue water. They walked for a bit on the beach. Mummy spread the blanket on the sand. They all put on their swimwear. Mummy had a blue bathing suit with large white flowers. Mina a bottom with a cat. Dad had long red swimming trunks with a white stripe on the side. Dad said, "Phew, it's hot. I will jump into the water right away." Mina cried, "Me too!" Dad and Mina ran to the sea and in the water. "Whoa!" "Is it cold, Mina?" asked Father. "You'll get used to it in a while. Walk in slowly." A moment later, it didn't feel so cold anymore. She was already up to her bum in the water. Dad only to his knees. Dad jumped up and dived into the waves. A moment later, Dad's smiling head surfaced. Now Mina dared to go deeper. She thought to herself, "I wouldn't like to go in with my head under the water." There were waves. They played with the waves. There was a big wave. Oh! She lost her balance. The big wave pushed Mina. Dad fished Mina out of the water. Fortunately, she had not gone under completely. They walked back to Mummy. "And now some sunscreen." Mother dried the girl off and smeared sunscreen everywhere on Mina's body. Suntan lotion on her arms and legs. That wasn't so bad. But the cream on your face, that's just not nice. "We have to, my little girl. Otherwise, the sun will burn you." Mummy was finally done applying the sun cream. Mummy wiped the sand from Mina's hands and gave her a sandwich. Sometimes the sandwich crunched between her teeth. There was some sand. "Nothing to be done," Mummy said. "That's how it is on the beach. At the end of the day, there will be sand everywhere." "I have an idea," Mummy said. "Shall we bury Daddy?" "Yeah!" That was fun to do. Dad had to lie on the sand. Mina and Mummy scooped handfuls of sand on top of Dad. Dad was big. They worked at it for a long time. Finally, Dad had completely disappeared under the sand. Only Dad's head still stuck out. Mina said, "Come out." Dad was trying to get out from under the sand. It was very difficult. First, Dad moved one toe. The toe came out from under the sand. Then Dad's foot appeared. Then his leg. Dad grunted. It was hard work to get out from under the sand. Daddy wriggled free. "Oh, Daddy, you are completely covered in sand," Mina said. It was true. Dad was covered in sand. Dad wanted to give Mummy a hug. Mummy laughed. "No, you are covered in sand. You are too dirty. First, go and wash in the sea." Dad wanted to give Mina a hug. The girl gave a little scream and ran away. Dad should rinse off in the sea first. Dad went into the sea and with his head under the water. He was clean again and toweled off. Now they could hug. Mummy looked at Mina. "Little girl, you have sand in your hair. Wouldn't you also like to go into the sea and wash the sand out?" She shook her head. "I don't want my hair in the sea." Mummy and Daddy said, "Tonight we will wash your hair." Mina asked, "Tomorrow?" "No, love. We have to wash your hair. Otherwise, your bed will be full of sand tonight. And you wouldn't be able to sleep because of all the itchy sand." Mina didn't like washing her hair at all. Dad said, "Do you want an ice cream?" That was a nice idea. A nice cold ice cream. Father and daughter walked to some kind of wooden house on the beach. Dad explained that this was a beach hut. "But it's not really a hut," commented Mina. "It's more like a house. More like a wooden house." Dad laughed. "That is just simply how it is called." Outside the beach hut hung a sign with lots of pictures of colourful ice creams. She chose the one she wanted. Dad paid for the ice creams. They walked back. Mummy helped to remove the packaging from the ice cream. It was yellow, red, and green ice cream on a stick. Mina licked. Delicious. Nice and cold on the tongue. She licked again and again. Oh dear, it dripped down Mina's hand. The ice melted in the sun. Mummy saw it. "Let me help," she said. She licked the leaking ice cream. "Don't eat it all." Mummy gave Mina back the ice cream. The last bit was the hardest to eat. Mina took the last piece of ice between her teeth. She pulled the ice in one go from the stick and into her mouth. Suddenly, Mina had her mouth full of cold ice. The day flew by. Mummy said, "Time to go home." They walked back to the car. They drove back through the woods. It had been a nice day at the beach. Mina sleepily asked, "Are we going to go to the beach again tomorrow?" Mummy and Daddy smiled at each other and said, "We will go again this summer." Great. It was so much fun at the beach. Mina suddenly felt very tired. Her eyes closed and Mina fell asleep. She had already fallen asleep in the car on the way home.